Just take one hit. Don't you want to be cool?
Gather round everyone. The show's about to begin.
Turn on, tune in, drop out, this show's amazing. It's Super Lemon Haze, you know them boys always blazing. Put one in the air, fill your glass and get to raising. Kirkman praising, school flag waving. Chopping up the topics as they're choking on some chronic. Scott and Eric breaking it down like 21st century prophets. Eyes glazed and minds dazed, it's knowledge they convey. Roll up and consume the Super Lemon Haze.
Super Lemon Haze.
Going to ask you several questions.
Super Lemon Haze.
How do you feel?
I feel like a slice of butter melting on top of a big old pile of flapjacks. Yeah.
Super Lemon Haze.
Super Lemon motherfucking Haze. Another fucking episode. We've got so much to fucking talk about today. We've got a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, we actually have not talked. We've had a lot going. We've had like a lot of tweets and sending a lot of material back and forth, but we actually have not had a chance to
stop you. This fucking thing keeps getting blocked up.
Yeah, that's what happens towards the end of those.
It's not the end though, is it?
Where are you? Let's see. Pull it out.
That's like half. Though.
Oh yeah, no, that's not good.
So what is that?
I
mean,
sometimes you get a crappy one. It just kind of logs.
So is
jams up.
We
got to get a little pen. You got to take a pin, take a needle, like a sewing needle, and stick it into the top there, and kind of get some of the goop out.
Fucking goop.
Yeah.
All right,
we'll work on that later. Or a toothpick sometimes will get in there. Yeah, you got it. You just got to pull a little bit harder too. Your lung capacity sucks because you're not working. You're not pulling on those vapes like normal.
No,
I've been running a lot though. You got your.
Dude,
I see you got your fucking 5K
today.
shirt on here.
Yeah, here I go.
Bang,
I go. Motherfucker, running like I don't know fucking what I'm doing anyway. Yeah, I posted a video just about 2 hours ago because I finished my longest run. I think in like
glimpse of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I went longer than I've ever gone in like fucking 20 years. So I'm like
That's awesome.
3.5. I was like huffing and puffing toward the end, but I was like, I was motivated because I was listening to an episode that we're going to talk about. But I don't think you know that much about it. But did you listen to the most recent one?
I've listened to some clips. I haven't gotten through everything, but I've also been catching up on some older things, and I'm trying to absorb as much as possible. The answer to Scott, are you absorbing shit about the Kirk Minahan and the Mincels and everybody? The answer is yes.
Well, I can actually see Mark has entered the studio, but we're going to bring him in a second. But we're going to discuss it because today was a very unique episode. So he's been planning this for a long time. I think do you remember him mentioning this on our show when he was on here? And he was talking about something, and I was like, "Oh, you mean the secret episode?" Do you remember I said that?
Vaguely.
Anyway, yeah. So today he dropped that secret episode. So basically, it was a 48-minute movie. So he wrote a whole script, and it was fucking hilarious. So I
saw some tweets referencing that. I didn't get it at the time. Okay, got it.
So it's definitely, I think it's one of those episodes because he did one of these before called The Hammer, where they pretended to be like a bad radio station because that's part of their bits. Is they like record really terrible radio stations and then they play them and make fun of them. And so a whole episode, they pretended to be a bad radio station and did like gimmicks and things. And people, I think that was like it was like maybe half and half received well and wasn't received well. But I feel like this just fucking hit the mark. This really was just like a pretty exceptional demonstration of like, what these guys can do. So
cool.
So I wanted to introduce someone who's going to be coming on the show. So this is going to be our 8th episode, I believe, on the Kirk Minahan Show Network.
I feel like we have a couple of different counts going, but
I know. So we got I think we were novices in the beginning. So we did a couple episodes, just you and I, just shooting the shit,
video.
Just practicing. No video, it was all audio, and those are up on our YouTube channel. But then once we got on to the Kirk Minahan Show Network, we started sort of a different count. So we got 2 counts we go on. I think we should probably just stick with the Kirk Minahan Show ones because those are the ones at least that I'm most proud of, and I think it's where we got into our groove. The first couple were just, they'll be fun to listen to. Like in the next couple of years, we'll look back and be like, oh, we fucking sucked.
That's possible.
Yeah, but then like on our 100th episode, we're like, man, we're pretty fucking good. So I think we should just stick with the Kirk Minahan Show count. So I think we're at this is number 8.
Okay, fair enough. Done.
And we have a special guest. We've got our first Minifan to join us. And Mark, I'm going to bring you into the studio. Give me 1 second. What's up, brother?
What's going on, guys?
Give me 1 second. I gotta figure. How are you?
There he is. What's up, Mark?
There we are.
What's up, boys? How we doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Excellent. I got to hear what you guys were talking about for a little bit there.
Yeah. We usually do. I don't know. We do like a little intro. It just sort of sets up the episode. And I was just telling him how excited I was to have you on with us. And
absolutely. No, did you? So you guys did you listen to the show today? Scott did.
I didn't. I haven't caught up yet. I'm still behind.
Yeah. So Mark, what you may have or will eventually learn is that I have been a huge fan of Kirk's for a long time, and I've listened to the show since its inception. Scott was a huge Barstool guy, and we're neighbors, so we talked about this shit all the time. We have a lot of like interest in common when it comes to the Barstool world. But he was like sort of a straight up like KFC blog person, and obviously listening to some of his content. And then I introduced him to Kirk and his podcast, so he's been trying to catch up ever since. And as you know, it's like an encyclopedia. Like it is truthfully one of those things where you just can't check in and check out. Like you have to just keep going to stay on top of what the hell's going on.
It's exactly what it is. It's a show. You know what I mean? Like the guy he produces. It's amazing. I don't know how he does. I mean, it's exactly what he said he wanted to do. It seems like from the beginning, from like even like the ZEI days. Like he just wanted this whole universe. Like you guys are what you guys are. And like you had said earlier, I think that's great. I think you guys do your thing. That's what he wants. He just wants content. He wants that miniverse.
Right.
It's crazy. Just, I mean, again, being a little bit of an outsider, and then, but seeing what Barstool had created originally anyway, and that kind of how many different demographics and different cultures and different kind of crews they were trying to grab, and then seeing this pop up, and then talking about a miniverse inside of a fucking huge universe. It's pretty cool. It's cool. It's good.
Did you listen to, or did you happen to catch the Token CEO episode of with Erica Nardini and Kirk? I think she released that.
I did not. I did see some of the stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
And, some of the stuff she said. She's incredible.
She's amazing.
Right?
I mean, I have said this. I mean, to everyone that I've ever, because I'm not sure how old you are, but we're on the older side, I think, of the KMS crowd.
I'm 39.
Okay, yeah, so we're all in the same age
boat,
category. Yeah. And so a lot of my peers, I'm a little hesitant to talk about that. I love. Because I think the Barstool brand, because I've been in Boston for over 20 years, it still carries some of that stigma with it. It's just like, just like these fucking douchebags who like just have blackout parties, get wasted, show hot
college crazy kids,
and just like posting just like derogatory and like crazy shit online.
Smoke show of the week,
Exactly. And so I have a hard time discussing some of the stuff, and it's almost like I'm a closeted Barstool fan.
Yeah,
because like I don't.
I'll be honest. I go back to the days of when Barstool was like when you would go to the website and you had to pick whether you wanted to go to Boston or the New York website.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. It was all divided by cities. There was like 6 of them, and then LA was up there. That went to shit. Yeah.
Chicago, LA. Yep.
That's how far I go back with Barstools. So I mean, it's not even just like it's a Kirk Minahan thing. Like I just thought the marriage was great. The few times that like he had Dave on back in the day, it was just it seemed great. You know what I mean? They seem to have very good chemistry. Like they're both maniacs, and I feel like they feed off each other with that. But it's a good kind of chemistry.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I think sort of the marriage between Kirk and Barstool, and we actually did ask that question when he was here, because it's. And this is sort of like, that was sort of the inspiration for one of these signs that I made, because, again, I think the way that Erica Nardini and the way that Dave Portnoy supports Kirk and everything that he does is just incredible. I mean, that's just because I think the way that, and he also explained it too, but he's an entertainer, right? So like half the shit that he says and does is really just like, it's fucking comedy, right? It's like, it's a little dry, it's a little dirty, and it's not meant to take 100% seriously.
It's a show. I mean, it's in the
fucking show. It's like an HBO fucking documentary. No one's like looking at fucking I don't know,
No.
anything on that channel and like bitching about it. Like, oh my God, your dragon's breathing fire down some native tribe. Like, no one gives a shit. No one's fucking. It's
Exactly. And today showed the range. Honestly, that episode today just showed like,
yeah.
I mean, it's why he went. I mean, he went to California because he wanted to be a writer or something, right?
Right. Yeah. He said he wanted to get into
Film.
he basically wanted to make films. I mean, you could just tell
Yeah.
by what his interests are when people, because he fucking talks about it all the time, all those fucking movies. And he is like a library of that shit. Like, he doesn't fucking miss a detail.
He is. That is actually phenomenal how he knows like best supporting actor. Fucking
Yeah, like 1987. Like, yeah, he did that the other day.
Out of here, dude.
The movie references are crazy. He's
Yeah.
always
It's
got
insane.
an amazing top 5. Yeah,
It's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was on Erica's podcast called The Token CEO, and the reason why I've been listening to them because they're so short. You know, like I think about it, like fucking listening to KMS, and I don't know how often you're doing it. I am trying to keep up with it daily, but it is difficult.
My biggest issue.
Yeah, but it's like it's like a marathon, and some of these other podcasts are like a sprint. So like, you know, Erica's is just like anywhere between like 10 to 20 minutes long. So. And she just has a great message, you know, for whatever reason. It's mostly business oriented, but
motivational. Yeah.
Yeah. Motivational.
Yeah, no, I actually did listen to like the first 2 episodes she had. No, exactly. And that's great content too. She's actually, it seems pretty straightforward.
Totally.
She tells kind of what's going on with the day and, you know, how to attack it.
Exactly. But she did. So she had Kirk on I think Tuesday's show, and the question that was asked to Kirk originally was, you know, what is it that you do? It's like, you know, kind of define your product. And Kirk kind of hesitated for a second. He's like, well, what do you think? And Erica had a really pretty accurate, you know, response to that question. And it was more along the lines of like, you just fucking do you. It's your filter. You're just, you know, you're assessing the world and the media, and, you know, obviously with a strong focus on Boston because that's where, you know, he was born and raised, and that's kind of what his birth was from. But it's just basically the world through his filter. And also she had to add it at the end, and this crazy like hooligans, like know, like the fucking mafia or whatever we are, the mob.
Whatever title that hasn't been taken from us, but yeah.
I know.
But dude, he is I don't know what else to say. The guy is amazing. He does what he wants. And like even that message that she was saying about him, that's kind of even how he just loves, it seems like he loves loyalty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's very big on that. And that's even why I feel like he portrays that same message to you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, you guys do what you guys do, and you know, you guys are doing a great job.
Thanks, man.
We appreciate
that. I believe that I reached out to, it was Eric.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah, about receiving my license and getting that going. That was actually great. That episode was very had a lot of great information.
Great.
So, you know, the things you guys are doing, keep it up. You know, so. One question I did want to ask was, did someone talk about going for their LTC, or someone tweet that out, or who was that?
So there's a little controversy with this, Mark. I mean, so
I know,
and I'm happy. I mean, so I'm a little nervous to bring it up. I'm a little nervous to talk about it, but you know, I guess since you asked the question, I have always, and same with Scott. We've got some pretty intense things in common, but I would say the things that made this podcast make the most sense was obviously the health and the wellness and the weed. Like that was like a really great thing. And then, you know, we threw in that LTC one, that responsible gun ownership episode a couple ago, because we're both extremely interested and excited about owning a gun, especially during this whole like fucking COVID shit. Yeah. And you know, that was part of that episode that we released with my boy Francis. And, you know, we were talking a lot about just like they're fucking releasing prisoners like left and right. Like they're like, oh, we don't give a shit that they're in jail for fucking
a lot to be concerned about,
rape and stealing and shooting people. We're just gonna fucking let them go because we're afraid they're gonna get a cold or something, you know? But to your point, and this is where I was just, I mean, I'll fucking say it, but like I had no fucking idea that it was against the federal law to consume marijuana or cannabis, even if you have a medical card and it's legal in your state. See, I completely missed that small detail. And so, you know, I was so excited because, like, I don't know if you heard, but like 2 weekends ago, I took that safety course.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm happy that I took it either way. You know, it was a lot of information that I didn't know.
Take regardless, no matter
what. Yeah, the information's good.
But then last week I was like, Scott, man, I'm so excited because now I'm going to fill out the application. I'm going to submit it. And, like, you know, I know some people here in the force on the town that we live. So I was getting all the information and the ins and outs. And then, but obviously they don't know about this show. It's a little bit on the, you know, it's on the DL.
Yeah. It's out there. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
They might know.
It's true. So, but I didn't know, and
he texts me a screenshot of like some of the rules from, like, you know, .gov websites, and he's like, "Did you know about this?" I'm like, "Of course I didn't fucking know about this. I'm a weed doctor. I'm not a gun. I don't know about. I'm not a gun expert. I'm a weed doctor. God damn it!" On my side of the fucking phone, I was fuming mad.
Oh, dude!
I thought it like fucking threw a wrench. So is that what you were going to say? So that's
I'm glad you were. Well, no, I'm glad you came prepared about this, Mark. This is a good move. Nice work. Well done, sir. Well done, sir.
So at least, so I'm curious to know, though. I'm sorry, Mark. I know I step on people's toes. Did you want to say something? Where do you stand with gun ownership? Are you someone who has or had, or what's your status? If you're comfortable in sharing, I don't.
No, totally comfortable sharing. So actually, and it was funny because my wife made the point, and she actually said. She goes, people, what, you're telling me people can't have anxiety or suffer from depression and own a gun?
Yeah.
Oh, so what, because your medicine happens to be marijuana and not like fucking Zoloft or whatever the fuck?
Exactly.
You can't? So if you're on those drugs, you're on those drugs, you can own a gun?
Yeah.
Seems a little ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And
you know what I mean?
Totally. And I decided to look into it a little bit deeper. And I guess there have been a number of lawsuits that were brought up in some of the other states, like California or Colorado, where so to explain to the audience, because on the federal application to get your LTC, your license to carry, it asks specifically about drug use, and it actually names marijuana as one of those illicit drugs. And so even though it's legalized in the state of Massachusetts, if you have, I mean, so this is
not recognized federally.
It's not recognized federally, but obviously it's illegal in the state. You cannot register to own a gun. And that's insane.
Uncle Sam thinks you're a liability, fellow. Uncle Sam thinks you're a liability.
Yeah, well, it is insane. And even to go further with the whole federal laws and bullshit with that. Yeah, like, so technically, like, if the fucking DEA wanted to, they can come to my house and come arrest me because I have, fucking or whatever. But, like, they're not doing that because, I mean, shit, they would have done that, in Colorado a long time ago, California a long time ago.
Exactly.
It's just it's nonsensical. And I did see someone posted out that Corey
I posted that today.
Yeah, what is it, the senator from
Cory Booker?
Booker, Pennsylvania. Where is it?
No, he's in New Jersey.
New Jersey, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. He was, because I think his fame started because I think he was like the mayor of Newark or something like that. And then,
and he also was trying to run for president, right?
And he was, I'm not a fan of Cory Booker, but I was obviously a fan. I mean, that's the kind of strange thing for me, because I'm a pretty conservative person, but kind of taking this trip with Scott and doing this podcast, obviously, I have a lot of liberal views on a lot of things.
Sure.
And it's very difficult to think that in our near future there's going to be any politician that's Republican who's willing to work with the other side to continue on that, federal, just allowing it on a federal level to be able to legalize weed, basically.
I think once you get into that conversation, I think your issue becomes, it's big pharma. Pharmaceuticals just don't want, I think, marijuana out there to be, the cure or the
right
people are getting when, they can give you pills and keep you on those pills.
Poses a threat to their best interest, Mark.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it poses a threat to their best interests.
Exactly. There's not money that way. Although, the thing with the also, again, just to follow up with your tweets,
I'm trying,
I
man.
appreciate
No,
that.
no,
This is
I mean,
good. No, this
you're-
is good for keeping us straight on these.
Yeah,
This is
No,
excellent.
absolutely. And with the High Times buying buying up the market over there in Cali, that seems. I don't know what that does. I don't know if that's good or bad. Does that create a flood in the market? Can they drive the price down? I mean, what does that do? I don't know what that looks like.
I actually think, for what it's worth,
Go ahead.
I think it's somewhat of a good thing. I mean, you don't want to see too much of that, right? Because you don't want to see like monopolies popping up all over the
Correct.
place. But the problem with what's going to make a real, like, a solid sort of weed business, so to speak, is you got to have like all three things, right? You got to be able to grow, you got to be able to do the retail stuff, and then you need the product management too.
Correct.
You got, as Eric picks up a fucking vape and starts ripping it, like marketing that product, making those vapes, that's like a division, right? Growing plants, that's a division. And then having there we go. And then having a dispensary where you're actually selling everything, like a retail store, that's a completely different business. If you watch these videos from Michael Dundas, the guy that owns Sierra, you know, he talks about how you really have to have all three of those pieces down, so you actually own three different businesses. So what happens is a company like a High Times comes in and kind of buys up all this shit. They have the ability and the funding to really stand up all three of those pieces of business, right? So what you're hoping there, what I hope in all of that is that them buying up a bunch of stuff paid off a bunch of guys that were awesome growers, right? And maybe gives them like a 401k or some insurance or something, because now they're part of a big company, right? So
make a real career out of it almost.
Exactly.
You know
They were
I mean?
like, they were growing on their own, probably trying to figure things out. Now they're bought up and they're part of this bigger machine that, you know, again, you could say like, oh, you know, and you still have to be from about it getting too big and turning into something like that.
Of course.
But I think this is kind of like one of those steps. Like, if you watch this guy from Sierra Naturals locally and you hear his little story, I think he's just recently gotten some funding or has bigger investors now, conglomerate type companies. And I think it's a good thing, because you're basically, like, niche folks are getting paid off and getting stable, part of a bigger business.
That's excellent. Yeah, no, like, it's even like, I don't know what's around you guys. Theory just came to Chicopee.
I just started following them. I would say, have you been there? Is that where you went to buy some of your?
I actually go to Mac because, like, again, medical's only open, and the Theory in Chicopee is not medical. They're only recreational.
Gotcha.
So the one in Great Barrington, that one's still open because it's still medical. So a lot of these, I don't know how it works for where you guys are at, but you got to, like, call in and your order ready.
Appointment only, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, the other place in Chicopee, Mac, they you can still just kind of walk in and your order inside and all that stuff.
Had you gotten over to New England Treatment Access in the past, or when they were recreational for a bit?
Oh, Netta?
Yeah.
No, I haven't been over there yet. No, there's we got Netta, we got INSA in East Hampton. Because obviously, Mark in Chicopee. I'm from Chicopee.
Yeah. That's what. No, that Western Mass location. That's an OG for Netta. That's an OG location, Mark. You should definitely check those guys out, especially now that you're medical. I believe that is open for medical right now.
Yes. Yeah, they're open. INSA's open.
Netta was one of the first medical ones. They got and they were also part of the first to get the recreational when that finally got let up last summer or 2 years ago or whatever that was.
Correct.
They got some great product over there, brother. You should definitely check those guys out.
Okay, I will.
But just to go back to what we were discussing, you know, in terms of, like, you mentioned the pharmaceutical companies, and, you know, the reason why they have so much leverage, as you mentioned, is because they have so much money, right? And what does money buy you? Money buys you lobbyists. And that's, unfortunately, our government is still as corrupt as any other fucking government in the world. We just we paint a pretty picture because we're the United States. And so, you know, if I think about, you know, what are the benefits of a company like High Times, which obviously has a huge following. They have a great business model already. You know, it's almost like Barstool, right? They've got this grassroots, huge fans, people who've been following them for years and years and years. Yeah. And they buy this, and
I used to get their magazine.
Yeah,
I mean, back in the day, right? Yeah, way back.
Always did.
Exactly.
That was the only source back in the day. Like,
I mean, I had a buddy that went to, like, fucking. He was a Cannabis Cup judge like 3 different times. Amsterdam. The guy was insane. He actually kind of looks like you, Eric. It's weird.
I'll look him up.
It's a little fucking creepy, but nah, he was a cool dude. But
You know,
no,
he looks like a child between Osama bin Laden and Colin Kaepernick.
kind of. Yeah, I swear to God.
That was Kirk's assessment. That was Kirk's assessment. Yeah.
It was pretty. It's the Kaepernick one for sure. I'm not going to disagree with that one. When he said that, I was like, he does look like Kaepernick a little.
Exactly.
Yep.
No, but again, just thinking about that, because in the end of the day, we have to think about what it is that we actually want as a cannabis community, right? Like, what's the end goal? And it seems to me that we're not at all big enough to have any leverage whatsoever in state or I mean, maybe some states, but or like federal government, right? We just don't have enough power, enough money to make major things happen, such as legalizing marijuana or decriminalizing marijuana, like kind of all the things that we talked about a week ago, in allowing this industry to become a little bit more mainstream and a little bit more commercial.
Well, I mean, and to be honest, not to cut you off, but it's even the same reason why recreational is not available right now, because there's nobody who gave Charlie Baker a little bit extra money.
Yeah, nobody's stuck up. Yep.
Correct. You know what I mean? Like, I used to be a cigarette smoker. You know what I mean? Nobody was lobbying for cigarettes ever. That's why they keep driving the prices up on cigarettes.
Exactly.
Same thing. If you don't have anybody in your corner to fight for you and say, hey, we need to be doing this. We need to be doing this.
Yeah.
That's why when you say like a person like a Cory Booker, like, yeah, you need a bigger time or name politician to back something to help move forward.
Yeah, so I think the High Times thing is good because I think that possibly gets some bucks into politics for us,
Correct.
for the community, and gets us going. It's a step and if it doesn't, it's at least a step in the right direction. I'd like to think, especially especially when they're talking like tens of millions of dollars. What was that? 80 million, something like that.
Yeah,
it
was
yeah, and they were projecting.
Yeah, they
were projecting for this year. After, I mean, this is obviously before they shut down and this whole COVID thing, but they were predicting like into the hundreds, like 90 to 100 plus millions of dollars in tax revenue for the state of Massachusetts.
Now, could you see like a High Times becoming like an Amazon of weed though? Like,
see that? So you mentioned flooding the market, and I guess that's. So this is where this is where consumers will come into the picture. Like, so I think about this from a business perspective. Like, we definitely need the money to make big changes. So I'm 100% in favor of that. But what's going to happen eventually is the more money that these larger corporations are going to make, because that's what they're capable of, because they've got the resources. And then it's just like the way that capitalism works, right? If you have, you make more. If you don't, you struggle. So we think about so then we come down to like the product, right? And so the product from my short experience and using cannabis regularly, it matters a lot, and so we have to make sure at least that if there are big companies like High Times buying all these local dispensaries and mainstreaming it, there has to be a level of overseeing the quality of the product, right? Like, we don't want it to go to shit. Like, I'm not going through this process to go to the local dispensary near us to fucking buy McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm paying a premium, because if I wanted to fucking buy shit weed, it's still on the market. You could go to it's so available. I mean, people are growing.
I hear you. It does make me laugh. It does make me laugh a little bit though when you say shit weed. I'm like, dude, fucking when I was in high school,
it's come a long way. Things have come a long way, Mark. Things have come a long way. We were fucking rolling blunts, dude. We were getting for like $200. Are you serious? Yeah, brickweed, bro.
Yeah, dude,
nobody's seen brickweed. Nobody's seen brickweed in a long time.
No.
I did see brickweed in I saw brickweed in Jamaica in 2008.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think when the last time I saw.
Can you please explain to the rookie what the fuck is brickweed?
So just like weed that's just kind of grown outside in a big crop, cut down, like mass cut down, and then packed as tightly as possible, and like air, like basically air sealed, like, and then it's stuffed into like the gas tank of a fucking Jeep and driven over the border from Mexico, and then dumped into our pockets in upstate New York or Western Mass, as where Mark is, and it travels well. So basically, brickweed travels well It's extremely durable and
Yeah.
is easy to pack a lot into a small.
Exactly.
Space,
There's
basically.
seeds, there's sticks, there's
Oh,
stems.
so that's what I was going to ask.
Everything.
Like,
Oh,
is
it's
it fucking
shit.
like tainted?
No, it's just
Right.
it wasn't cared
droppings
for.
and
No,
It's in like every rap song.
Yeah,
I know.
brickweed wasn't cared for. Okay, brickweed
Gotcha.
was just
No.
allowed to kind of be out there. Brickweed's
then-
just
and then
wild
there
and
was-
free.
Yeah, and then there was mid grades, and then hydro, and you know what I mean, like nugs. You know what I mean? Like that's how it started off, and then
Right.
eventually it got to a point where we are today. You know what I mean?
All originally educated to us or taught to us by High Times magazine.
Right.
Believe it or not. If you
Right.
wanted to find out about some dope ass AK-97, you'd read about that in some High Times magazine.
Exactly.
So what's cool about last quick point about High Times, I just forgot. I remember from the article. What's cool is they all sponsor all of the conferences, like the Cannabis Cup competition,
Yeah, I wish they
and
canceled
stuff like
all
that.
Yeah.
Canceled right now due to COVID, obviously. Fuck. But what's cool about all of this is if they own dispensaries and have control of product lines, they're still doing the marketing and the running of those conferences, shows, competitions, all that kind of stuff. So you get the Cannabis Cup winner, and they're putting that shit right into the dispensaries. Once
Right.
that whoever we decide is the best weed of the year, that's going to be in their dispensaries in California. That's pretty fucking cool.
That is a cool. That's a cool.
Sour
that's a cool
diesel.
setup. Was that a winner?
Classic.
That was a classic, dude. I don't even know. That strain is impossible right now.
Do you grow? Have you ever played with that?
I know people. How about that?
There you go.
Personally,
Yeah.
but I do know people. I've set up a few. Like I think I texted or said to one of you, I'm an electrician, so
Yeah.
I've set up a few grow rooms myself.
Gotcha.
I love to hear about some sour D. Sour D is like a step down from the super lemon haze when you come to
Yeah, dude.
strange. It's like when you come to the sativa strains and
Strain.
levels, it's like what's kind of like one level down from from there.
It looks like there's sugar all over it.
Yeah, and it'll punch you in the face a little harder too, Eric.
Absolutely.
Just gonna have to get some for another vacation or something. So.
Super lemon haze is a different deal, but that sour diesel will get you a little punch.
Yeah, it's legit, bro.
So I can't tell. So I guess we're saying that we're in favor of big marijuana to have their influence because we need the money to make major things happen, but
pay some people and stabilize
the market, right?
Stabilize the market for sure. Because I'm not going to complain about the prices that we're paying at these dispensaries, but they are steep. But
it's a heck of a lot better than we used to do.
Nice deals, and honestly, with the medical thing now too, you can get points at all these places, or I do know that actually. I know you brought up Netta. And I do know if you sign up with them or something, they give you they'll pay for like $100 for your registration, and then give you like $100 gift card to spend.
Yeah, show them your registration, and it used to be and they've changed it now because you used to have to pay for your you used to have to pay for the doctor, and then you have to pay the state like $50 also for your registration for the first like 4 or 5 years. It just changed this year. And they would pay, or even back then they were covering the whole fee. They'd give you like $250 in credit.
Yeah.
Now whatever it is, now they're covering whatever it is now. Yeah, the $100,
it's like
$50 for fee or whatever. But yeah, you bring them your receipt, they'll give you credit at the store for basically that cost, which is pretty cool to get you started.
Yeah, that was.
Glad you mentioned that, Mark. That's a good deal, man.
That was actually. There was a deal that was offered to me when I went into Sierra Naturals for the first time. They said that if you spend $150, which is, I think, based on the prices, it wasn't that difficult to spend $150. I bought a battery, a couple cartridges, and one thing of edibles, and that was already $100.
You can spend some money quick.
Yeah,
absolutely.
This isn't a cheap. There's a few things you can get, and you can get by on a few bucks here and there. But yeah, you can also go in there and go crazy.
Yeah, but they had a new customer deal. So if you spend $150, I think you get a $50 gift card that you could in a future purchase. So
and it was like we talked about, it was 420 recently, and obviously they were running specials around that time too, right when I got my actual license. So it was great. Like I said, at the place at Mac, they were doing a 2 for $100 cartridges. So that was legit.
Hey, Mark, we haven't hit this yet, but like, what was your motivation to get the medical card? Because it sounds like you do have some experience, obviously, and you have some friends that are doing maybe the growing piece. So like, what was your motivation for that?
Honestly, it was more recently, it was actually due to my anxiety issues. And it's not so much just because of this Corona thing. I think it's actually been a thing that I've had for a while and just really didn't want to acknowledge it, I guess. Again, even some of my, I don't want to say maybe depression situations, but I think there might be a little bit of that too. I don't know if that's what's drawn me to Kirk, like his whole story. But yeah, there's you know, some things that I was dealing with and working through, and had spoken to my doctor, and then she had prescribed some, you know, type of anxiety medication pills, obviously, and I'm not for that. I'm not a big fan of that stuff, and I know.
Can you just elaborate on that point? Because I know that that's obvious. There's a lot of stigma with, is it just the fact of you're taking the medication, or is the side effects? Like, what was your feeling about that stuff?
It's actually a little bit of both. I would say it was the fact that I guess I personally look at taking medicine and or pills and kind of frown on it. And then the actual feeling I was getting from taking the medication wasn't good. Appetite changed, all that type of stuff. Didn't feel right, I guess.
Your appetite, was it growing? Was it increasing, or you were not eating? It was suppressing it. What was the?
It was suppressing it, actually.
Yeah.
Which actually, it's not a bad thing. I mean,
it depends, I guess.
I could probably take, you know, skip it a couple meals here and there, but no, seriously. But it was once I started hitting the pen, and it was the oils. I don't know what it was, because I smoked plenty of flower throughout my teenage years, I guess. And yeah, it was, I think the oils just did it for me.
It's concentrated cannabinoids. Yeah.
You know,
it's different on the brain.
I'm 100% with you. Because that was actually, you know, on the episode that I did get medically certified, I posted a little bit about that interview. If you remember, you know, I have had very bad experiences of severe paranoia and the sort of the hypervigilance that the woman mentioned in every one of my experience in smoking flowers, which has scared me away from using it at all. And that really sort of started to shape my overall opinion about it, because I was like, oh, this is fucked up. Like, and it wasn't until this motherfucker and my wife who allowed me to play a little bit with it. And I never got that way. And so I don't know what it is about it. And I would love to speak to someone who actually can talk more about that technology and the oils, but whatever it is about the pen, it worked well for me. And so I'm happy that you said that, because I haven't heard that yet.
Mark, what kind of cartridges are you into, and what is the please describe the ultimate or the desired effect you're looking for when you're taking cannabis, when you're smoking vapes?
So really, and again, not always just trying to go back to Kirk, but
it's amazing. Podcast Jesus, motherfucker.
I'm a person that's kind of in my head a lot. Like, I think a lot, just constantly. And I think even now, especially in this time, it happens quite a bit. And I like indicas, if that's kind of what you were talking about.
Slowing things down.
Yeah. And so what that allows me to do is, you know, kind of just chill, relax, kind of just let my thoughts go, I guess, and not think too much about what's going on right now. But even with, it wasn't so much like socially, because I'm definitely I would say I'm a people person. I love hanging out with people, love conversating, I like doing this. This is fun. But it was creating, I don't know what was happening. I don't know if it was from the medicine or even prior to taking the medicine, the pills, I mean. And but it was creating a lot of just anxiety issues for myself, and these oils seem to be solving it. So that's kind of how I go about it. This nice oil I got in here right now is Punch Breath, It's I think it's Purple Punch and Grandpa's Breath together. So
Very in purple stuff. Yeah. Old school indicas. Yeah. Cool.
So
I was gonna ask if you had any cushes you see in cushes or blueberries and things like that for indicas in those stores. Usually that's what we're getting these days, right?
oh yeah, absolutely. And well, it's funny you say that. My buddy was growing a Kush for a while, so
Those are good. Yeah. I think
those are good.
Netta has like a G88 hash plant or something like that. Oil that's good strong indica. There's a couple out there. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You're looking to slow things down. So he's looking a little bit of the pretty much the opposite of our friend Eric over here. You're basically looking to kind of just slow things down.
Correct.
Kind of mellow things off and numb it up a little bit. Get things calmed.
It's
Correct.
Not to get too in depth into this whole like the mental health thing, but like I was listening, Mark, to the way that you were describing your symptoms and stuff, and it's kind of similar to what I felt, but it's interesting to know that I haven't even experimented with the sativas. With the indicas. I've only purchased and used the sativas, which are, I guess, that was why I posted that article today. Did you see that one?
I did.
We talked about it was an article about anxiety and what strains work, and it kind of goes along the lines of what you and Scott were just discussing. But I kind of felt myself as a little bit of an outlier, because I didn't connect to what I was doing, and I guess that did come up in my conversation.
But even still, I think even at the end of the article, or even towards the end, he does say that like it doesn't even matter, because I've heard it said to me, they're like, I like sativas.
Yeah.
My buddies are like, I want sativas because you get more of the weed effect, that body high or whatever.
Yeah.
The euphoria. And so I don't know. I guess I'm opposite of that. It seems, but I still feel kind of like, I don't know, that way too.
Yeah.
No, there's
you know what I mean?
We're going with norms. They're for the most part norms and kind of generalizations for the most part.
Exactly.
For the most part, I got plenty of outliers that are like, I want to smoke a sativa in the evening, and it makes me, and that's what I like to do. Like, there's plenty of those out there. But for the most part, it's fine. And also, just for what it's worth, Eric doesn't. Not necessarily. Indicas are not necessarily ruled out for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just. You don't need to. I didn't need to tranquilize you. You're busy enough throwing weights around, chasing kids, working, and all the other things that you're dealing with. That when I talked to you, you said you didn't have any issues falling asleep. You didn't give me any indication of needing to turn off, so to speak. You were looking for different stimulation, that sort of stuff. So we went with a light sativa because. We're talking more like, I don't know, afternoon, day type of stuff on a Saturday or a Sunday to just kind of chill out and have a good time.
Yeah.
Whereas Mark's, again, it's kind of a little bit of a different thing. He's trying to like kind of turn the knob down a couple of notches. So an indica can do that at the end of the day, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Mark might want to fuck around with a sativa on a Sunday morning too. It doesn't necessarily mean he's locked into anything specific either. It's just kind of what works best overall. We're talking, so you're kind of looking at like a 70-30 rule, maybe an 80-20 rule type of thing when you get into these things a little bit.
You can almost look at, if you want to look at it as like, like NyQuil, Dayquil, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you're going to take some sativa Dayquil in the morning, take some, NyQuil indica at night.
There you go. Exactly.
And that's the other thing of it too, because I've heard people say like they'll smoke indica at night and it keeps them up all night. They'll smoke at night and they'll go right to bed. So body chemistry is all different. Again, that goes back to the article, and just people are different.
Yeah, I think something that it did say too that I thought was interesting, Mark, was it did mention like because there's a lot of hybrid strains that are going on right there. So there's a and they mentioned it's not necessarily always just about the strain, but like the terpenes, and that's definitely part of the science that I'm learning a little bit more about. So it's just like the things that provide sort of the aroma and the flavor. It also has almost it's not just all the way to the left or all the way to the right anymore, right? Now there's some like, it's almost like one of those like soundboards. Like there's a lot of like little knobs. And
exactly. And you're absolutely correct, because also again in that article, it mentioned, and I did see it at that at Mac, that other dispensary in Chicopee, was Charlotte's Web, which is more of a CBD, and it's actually less THC. So I'm actually gonna, maybe fox with that a little bit and just test that out, see how that works.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you love that actually, or a 1-to-1 if they have one of those like 1-to-1 strains too out there.
Yep.
It's like 15%, like 15% THC, but like 8% CBD or something like that, which is like 4 times the usual CBD and like a more of a psychotic weed that a strain that you'd smoke. So yeah,
correct.
Good
So
catch.
there's a lot of options. That's why, again, we talked about it even earlier, boys, and you know what I mean. When it comes to this plant, you know what I mean. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
It has so many capabilities and possibilities that it just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It was like a prohibition that happened, and they just never came back from it.
Yeah, and that's something that I've read a lot about too. Is how prohibition, it never works for anything. It doesn't work because you're going to prohibit people from doing something, and in this country, I mean, people are just going to fucking do it anyway, right? But they're going to do it in a way that's not controlled. It's not going to be necessarily safe. It's not going to help the matter. It's people are just going to do their own fucking thing, like just fucking going to the malls and buying fucking weed in the parking lot. Like it's just like so. It's,
well, I mean, look what happened. What was it, today in Michigan? Like people were walking into the Capitol building with guns. Like people,
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, dude, like crazy. Like you're right. You can only hold, and it's the same thing. I mean, I don't want to get into this, but it's what's going on now. You know what I mean? You can only hold people inside for so long.
Exactly. We
out and they want to, they're going to go to the
break out.
Yeah. It's amazing because I do think that it is a state by state thing right now, and I think, I don't know, man. Like every time I listen to my governor, our governor, I should say, Governor Baker, I don't like anything that's coming out of his mouth right now. And I know he's got the right. I know he's got the right thing in mind, and it's safety. But then because I'm a clinical researcher, unfortunately, I do work for a large company that is part of the problem. But that's okay because I love what I do and I love my job and they support me, so I can't.
That's great. Yeah.
Bad about it, but fuck. What was my point?
Baker.
Oh yeah. So everything so I'm looking at the science. I can read the numbers. I can read the populations. I can read who's getting sick, and you know what? It's even though we have a very high rate and they consider Massachusetts being like a hot spot because of the numbers, but like it's not getting people like us sick. It's not getting my kids sick or Scott's. It's do you have little ones?
Oh yeah, I got 3 kids.
Congratulations, man. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
But, I know, but it's only getting. Unfortunately, this is our parents' and grandparents' population, but like it's really an old person's disease. Not to say that we aren't able to contract it and feel symptoms from it, but just based on all of the numbers. And if you think about it now, we've got a pretty large fucking population size. 1 million people in the world have contracted this. So we're not talking like a small, like 45 person study. This is 1 million people. And the numbers aren't budging. It's just it's actually every time that they recalculate and add more data, because they're doing this on a daily basis.
Yep.
It's only reinforcing that they're keeping us from doing our thing because one population is getting extremely sick from it. And that's, I mean, I don't know how to, and this is the first time, obviously, in modern time, I don't know what it fucking was like in like 1918 with the Spanish flu. Everyone was talking about this fucking Spanish flu, but like in today, modern time, I feel like we're the ones that are fine. We're okay. We're okay to get sick. We're okay to get COVID-19. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a handful of us that aren't going to be okay. But you're not in favor.
No, I'm with you. I mean, and I also think
you're shaking your head. Like
no. I think this all is tough, man. And I also think that there's going to be, even aside from your points, which I agree with. We're going to get to this point where those curve numbers, those official curve numbers, like there's not going to be a rising case in Massachusetts after another, I think within the next like 2 weeks, they're saying that's going to stave off. You're already hearing about cases, about hospitals all over that have like, not a rising case. There's still people in the beds. There's still people on ventilators, still people getting treatment, but there's still an influx of people. There's still a worry about wave 2. That's a whole concern. But but yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see how everybody's going to open up. People are going to get like, you have a real good chance of being on the wrong fucking side of history trying to open up this country over the next 2 months.
I mean, I fucking hate to say it, but like, you know, so say for example, they just decide to do this like soft open. And tell me if I'm crazy, Mark, but like,
so hold on before you even go any further, just real quick. Let me tell you this.
Oh,
my wife is a small business owner. She's a hairstylist. So let me know how that works.
exactly.
Right.
It doesn't. I mean, I
you know what I mean? What did she just get extensions? And she's like, you know,
why? So was it Georgia that was opening up their like tattoo parlors and salons and things like that?
yeah.
And there was like a newscast that showed one of the salon he had like a full like bodysuit cutting someone's hair. I don't know,
dude, who's gonna do that? That's insane.
In Maine, everything's fully open, or at least they'll have like not fully open. I shouldn't say, that's the wrong way to say it. But in Maine, we have a place up for the summer that we go up for the summer, and salons, restaurants, all kind of getting opened up slowly, and kind of, I mean, they'll have to abide by some rules that I don't know how those actually get enforced or how that actually goes down, but they're all opening up May 15th and then May 30th. And then there's like the staggered plan to basically start opening up because they can't have hairstylists out of work any longer. It's
crazy, man. I don't even know how do you do restaurants? Like, how can you tell a restaurant, like a small little towny restaurant, right? It has maybe like 15 booths in it.
Yeah.
And you tell them they could only have half the people in there.
They got to take out half the booths.
It's funny you say this though, Mark, because I almost feel like, I mean, we come from we're in a small town, but it's almost like the local restaurants, because of the people who have been here so long, they are going out of their way to make sure that some of these places are not going out of business. I almost feel, and I wonder this, I mean, again, we'll never, at some point they will study all this shit, right? And they'll figure out in the future, epidemics or pandemics, what they're going to have to do. But a lot of the larger chains are the ones that are closing and putting some out of work. So
like there's a couple Starbucks closed around me.
Exactly. We talked about that too. Exactly. I mean, obviously those are lower wage individuals, and most of them probably are depending on that for a livelihood. But either way, I mean, income is income. So if you're fucking losing like $500 a month or fucking $5,000 a month, it's still a fucking effect, one way or the other. But what I was going to say, and tell me if you think this is crazy, but like just along the lines of what I was saying, if it's an aging disease, right? So if it's people that are in their late 70s to early 80s or beyond that are suffering the most, what if we just told those people to stay home and they let us all like out? And then there's cops, because right now, as you know, there are people in towns that are making it mandatory to wear a mask, right?
Chicopee's one of them.
When if a cop goes up to an older person and looks at his ID and says he's like 85, like, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson, you got to go back home. You got to go home.
Get back in.
Well, seriously, no, I'm not going to disagree with you on that. And I mean, I don't want
crazy thought, but that's it.
I sound like an ass, but seriously, like I told my wife today, I got to the point today where like I'm kind of done with it, man. I'm to the point where we need to just go back to being normal. And if you want, tell the old people to stay home. If they don't want to stay home, don't stay home. I mean,
or it's almost like
country, man. Yeah,
and I guess that's exactly so that's the fucking point right there, man. It's like I hate to say this because this is what I don't know if you heard this, but this is what what's his face? He was on Hannity. He said it to Hannity. O'Reilly. Yeah. O'Reilly, did you hear that quote that O'Reilly got him into big trouble? And I don't think he's been on the air ever since. I think actually he's been taken off the air of a number of networks. But he's basically like, these people are going to die anyway, right? It's like, and that's not what I'm saying. Like that's a horrible way of looking at it.
Vegas said that's what she came on and said. She went on to CNN and did it. What did she say? Like, yeah, we'll be the guinea pigs. It's fine. Let us open up. We need to open these casinos. We need to open the strip back up. There'll be some people that'll die. It's fine. Whatever.
But it's like let's go back to the fucking wild, wild west, man. Like it's like every man for themselves,
Well, it's not. I'm not even trying to be like that, but like it's like
no. But you
gotta do something. I mean, we can't function this way. It just doesn't work.
Right. But what I'm saying, and again, this is where the public health person in me gets confused because there's a huge economical disparity in this. So if I said like, let's open up Newton, right? Like let's open up Newton, Massachusetts. I guarantee you everyone's going to be fine because everyone's going to be responsible. Everyone's going to wear the fucking masks and their gloves. They're going to drive in their own individual cars. They're going to only, if they go into a restaurant and they want to spend their money, and if they see like the restaurant's too crowded, guess what? They're just going to turn around and go back to the fucking Olive Garden.
Exactly.
Whatever, right? But the disparity piece comes into play when you talk about like fucking Dorchester, right? Where the mayor, Mayor Walsh, that was his motivation for fucking putting that that curfew in place.
Yes.
Because it's a different group.
I agree. No, I agree.
That group didn't give a fuck. They're just like hanging out the fucking courts, and they're hanging out at each other's homes, and they're all fucking like hanging out.
Well, I mean, you were saying it like a pandemic. Like, I mean, Holyoke, that Holyoke Soldiers Home.
Oh, that's so sad.
That died, dude. Like that.
Yeah.
Fucking hate seeing that.
Brutal.
It's the worst, bro. And honestly, that is a place that's a low economic place.
Yeah.
And there was a lady that was interviewed there, and she said they didn't have proper PPE, and they didn't have enough staff, and staff was going from one room to another room, and they're just moving patients around, and that shit just spread like wildfire. And
exactly.
It's just it's them old people. Unfortunately, it sucks, dude.
Yeah.
My mother stopped by earlier today, but she had gloves and a mask on, and I'm like, hey, protect yourself, I guess.
Be careful. That's it.
Exactly.
Though in Maine, they're doing on June 1st, they go up to 50 people gatherings. They can have 50 people in a room. So I guess that's going to help the restaurants to that point, right? But they still have to impose. I mean, there was a pretty bold statement in there that said like they will need to still impose distancing and health measures. So what's the permits look like that? Like what do the health and safety permits turn into? Nowadays?
Correct. And now is that another money grab? Is that another money grab? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of this affects me because again, I'm a small government guy, and I have failed. I mean, I think Governor Baker, I voted for him first round, man. I was a fan. I was a big time fan, and I have not enjoyed his second term at all. There's not a single thing that he's done ever since the vape ban, and I wasn't.
Absolutely. No, but see, what I found funny too, you say Baker, right? Why did he come out? Like, I found it funny. He came out at the beginning of this week, like getting ahead of it, saying, hey, we're pushing it back to the 18th. And then everybody else, all the other states were like, you know what? We're going to open up. We're going to open up. Open up. He was like trying to be like that douchey Democrat, just get out in front of it real quick.
Exactly. And I mean, it's hard not to think he has aspirations because once you're the fucking governor, there's only one other place to go after this. And you know where that is, right? So he's clearly has his sights on like 2024.
Of course.
And I mean, like my in-laws
being a Republican governor in a blue state is the Romney blueprint, and he almost made it. So
that's the Romney blueprint.
You just gotta do it better than Romney did.
But
Romney was a robot.
And he's fucking miserable, and I couldn't stand him. But Baker's got a little bit of a charm, but he also has the business background, so he's got a lot more skill, and he's a much more sellable.
Why does he reminds me of like Roger Goodell? When I look.
Oh my god, that's what you said. Exactly. And I don't know if it's a fucking power thing or what, but like every time he fucking and this is what I was trying to say is that my fucking in-laws are so liberal, the exact opposite. Not exact opposite, but and they love him. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, can I just say one thing? Like, that he's got an R next to him. They're like, I don't care. I love him. So it's like he's definitely got like a formula working for him, at least in this state. Who knows if it's going to work nationally, but he turned it on. He fucking fooled me. I'll tell you that much. I voted for him both times. I mean, like, I haven't voted for a Democrat in 20 years, so I wasn't going to vote for a Democrat. But
then he didn't help us with the weed being on.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
He's totally against pretty much everything that's happened
since like fucking November 2019.
Exactly, it's all been downhill.
Limited the hell out of the.
So I'm not gonna vote for him next term.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't help.
Exactly.
He didn't help.
Who's going to run against him?
He didn't help.
There's only 2 terms in government.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be done.
He's done. He's gonna be running for fucking president. I'll never fucking give him my vote. Never again.
Yeah, didn't help with the medical, and then delayed the hell out of the recreational. Basically said, we don't have the infrastructure for the recreational. So the people voted in 2016 recreational, and we didn't have recreational weed until what, 18?
Exactly. And they were still, he's still being a pain in the ass with a whole bunch of shit because Theory had to jump through a bunch of hoops.
Oh yeah, it's hard. Yeah, there's not a lot getting open.
Yeah.
You know, so
Mark, we're gonna start to wind this down only because we always if you fucking look at that hour mark and that shit goes fast.
We screw it up every time.
We're always like fuck, and I always try to cut it down, but I don't think I'm gonna cut anything out of this fucking conversation because this was fucking hot. I love this. This was great. You did an awesome job. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Yeah, you got to come back on and talk some more weed with us soon, bro.
But there's one thing that we always like to ask. There's one thing that we like to ask, and that's that's the how high question.
You want to get high, man? If I study high, take the test high, get high scores. Are we in the right place?
Just be cool, and you might have some fun.
See, I'm looking for the ecstasy, for the pot, for those shrooms.
How high?
People give me shit for this, but I actually think it's funny. Do you have any stories, or is there one particular story about fucking getting wasted or high or whatever that you would like to share with us? And you're willing, you can turn this down if you don't want to, but
so we're referencing like bigger, larger bong hits and or edibles. Mark, anything you got here, bud? Way back, you can go back to 16-year-old days, whatever you got.
Oh, absolutely. So we'll go with the mushroom story.
Oh boy,
this is our second mushroom story, but keep going.
I like
it. But yeah, no, it was it was me and two of my buddies. We went to go visit a couple girls up at UMass Amherst, and whatever reason we decided to ingest those mushrooms, and then
whatever reason,
we were hanging out in their room, and then they kind of started like messing with us. So we were like, "Oh, dude, let's just go outside, have a cigarette." Like I said, I used to smoke cigarettes, so we went outside, had a cigarette. We were outside, honestly, for like 3 hours, tripping our balls off. Like we were staring at a cement wall that, like, afterwards we realized just had like gum and like shit on it. We were looking at it like it looked like a Jamaican, and it looked like some crazy shit. And all three of us, it was the craziest thing. All three of us, we heard at the same time, like it sounded like a marching band.
Yeah,
was like around the corner, and it was like fantasy. And then actually at one point, I had to piss real bad. I pissed on the building. The what is it, the RA or whatever?
Yeah,
he happened to come outside, perfect timing, right? Of course. He's like, "Are you pissing on my building?" And I was like, "Building?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like,
"The RA owns the building, of course. My building."
Yeah, exactly, my building. Get out of here. So yeah, that's what I got. I could have told you about my drunken getting naked story, but I wasn't gonna go there.
For another time.
2 points.
Exactly.
2 points I get out of that. One, cigarettes when you're tripping on mushrooms are amazing. You can smoke a whole entire pack and it doesn't affect you whatsoever, and you'll just rip through them all. Two, time is not a factor at all. 3 hours goes by just like a blink of an eye. You need to you can sell time if you could sell time tripping. Yeah, like that would be.
And you can consume as many beers as you want too.
Oh yeah, beers are limitless. Yep.
Yeah.
So meaning that what? Like there's just a level that you reach, and then there's no going up or going down. You're just there.
You don't even get drunk.
You just don't. Yeah, you just drink the whole time. As a matter of fact, it's encouraged to have. Now it's been a little while. This is more like my college. I'm guessing going back a few years now, Mark.
This was last week, by the way.
It's encouraged to have like you need as many beers as possible, actually, because it kind of like gives you something to do. You don't want to be tripping without anything to do. Idle hands. Yeah. No idle hands while tripping. No idle hands.
I don't know. Hey, and I don't know if you guys were there, but there was some shrooms going on in Madawaska.
We were not there. You were there?
Oh yeah, man.
Good for you.
Well done. There he is.
I couldn't
He's
see the shirt. I thought it said
nice.
something. Yeah,
show your shit off there, Mark. Nice.
Did your wife go with you?
No, sir.
And how did
you? It was me and two of my buddies, and we met some great people up there, man. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
I mean, I was jealous. I couldn't get myself to even ask. I just kind of like thought about it and couldn't wait for the podcast to be dropped. I thought I really missed out, and I did, because I know. I mean, and there's no chance. Do you have Wilbur tickets?
I do. I have.
Where were you going to go?
Both shows I had.
You motherfucker! Nice. We're gonna see you though. I mean, whenever it happens, I guess.
Yeah,
but
we'll see how it shakes out.
We've got the later show.
That September 11th thing, was that a joke or is that a real thing?
Oh man, that's it. That's what they moved it to. You didn't get that email?
Yeah.
No.
Should have been sent to you from, like, I don't know. You must have got it on Ticketmaster, right?
Let's get it from Ticketmaster. I bet you if I go on there.
Yeah, so that was sent to me.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean, that's the date that it's. But I don't know that's. I don't think they're gonna. I mean, how Governor Baker has shown his true stripes. I don't think they're gonna be allowing that large of a gathering, 1,000 people. I mean, that's pretty intense. So.
Yeah, exactly. My wife. I mean, my wife was talking about how schools might not even be going back in September. So I mean, it's a whole nother thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, I've got 3 too. 2 of mine are in the elementary school level, so it's just, I don't know. It's nuts. Dude, we would love to have you out here, so maybe we can do a live broadcast. So whenever this fucking shit gets lifted, please come out to us.
Absolutely.
We're next door neighbors, so we share a yard, but you can come out and fucking barbecue with us. We'll
figure something out.
Hang out, bring the kids.
We'll do something. Definitely.
Yeah, it's whatever, man. We really appreciated you coming on, so thank you so much. We're gonna have you on again, so I hope you're open to that. So
absolutely, boys.
All right, brother. We'll talk later. Okay, Mark. Have a good night.
Later.
All right, peace.
That was great.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, diehard Minifan.
I didn't know. I mean, I knew that he was obviously
got his Madawaska tank on or a hoodie on.
So I don't know if you know this, but Kirk has people that he's made. You're basically made. So
right.
So if you're made, you're official and you're there for life. I don't know if this is true, but I feel like he made everyone that attended.
I'm guessing Mark would argue that. Yeah.
Everyone that attended Madawaska is a made man. So I aim to be
that,
a made man.
That was great. Great conversation. Great guy. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great to catch up with him. We've been fucking around with him on Twitter for a while too.
Long time.
Good to catch up with him.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I think he's literally our biggest fan. And I was trying to think, man, if we actually have fans now, can we name them?
He's one of our boys. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So
we have a few. Yeah. I mean, we only have like 5 that we could say like that are our boys out there. But yeah, he's one of them.
He's definitely one of our biggest supports. But can I name our fans or no? Like they're calling like Blind Mike's like the gearheads. Should I just shut the fuck up and just hang up on this thing?
No, I don't think you should hang up on this. Yeah, we can figure out something. I mean, just don't think of it as long as it's not dorky like How High. I think.
Oh, it's so fucking dorky. I was gonna call them like the Lemon Heads.
Well, I don't think that's gonna work. That's horrible. That's horrible. You're gonna get us beat up or something.
I know. We're probably gonna get beat up. No one listens to this anyway, right? So we're good.
That's fair.
All right, guys. Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for staying on. Talk to you later. Super
Lemon Haze.
Super Lemon Haze. Super Lemon Haze.
What is this?
Is it over?
We're running out of time.
I don't want to hear your excuses. No, it's not fair.
Where'd all the finals go?